Hello teachers, and welcome to the Braille Academy. Okay, so teachers, remember we are done with the module IE 021, and that was the basic English Braille module IE 021. We are done with that, and I hope everything was okay. Now we are going to start a very new module, and that is module IE 033. Module IE 033. This module is also called the Mathematics Braille Notation. Mathematics Braille Notation. Sasa, I know most teachers ukisikia mathematics umeanza kuogopa. Teachers, please. Mathematics Braille is very easy. Very, very easy. Listen to me. I'm saying when you come to mathematics Braille, it is very, very easy. At this level, there is nothing hard when it comes to mathematics in Braille, right? Because number one, there is nowhere you are going to be told to find the area of anything, okay? The area of circle, the perimeter, the volume of a circle, anything to do with calculation. So you're going to see that we are just going to deal with rules of spaces and some statements questions, only that. In most cases, there is absolutely no questions that you'll be told to find or to calculate anything, okay? You can hardly get. Now, so teachers, this module is called module IE 033 and it's called Mathematics Braille Notation. Remember, Braille is divided into three, whereby we had the basic English Braille, that is module IE 021. Let me write here, module 21, module 28, and module 33. So it's 021, 028, and 033. So this 021 is called the basic English Braille. And then after we are done with this, remember we are done with this module IE 21. Now the next module that we are going to look at is module IE 033, and now it is this one, which is called the Mathematics Braille Notation. After we are done with this module, we will go now to the Advanced English Braille, that is module IE 028. And then this one we will do later after we are done with Mathematics Braille Notation, or module IE 033. So I told you a complete Braille course has got 3 modules. Okay, that paper has got these 3 modules, okay, in it. That paper, I told you that paper is 9110 stroke 203. Okay, let me write here, 9110 stroke 203. So this paper contains these 3 modules. Module 21, we are done with it, and then we are going to look at module 033, and then finally tutaangalia the Advanced English Braille. So welcome to mathematics class. We are going to enjoy and we are going to learn, and I hope we are going to understand. Now let us look at the first topic, but remember we are going to use the original module from KISE. This is an original module from Kenya Institute of Special Education. Kenya Institute of Special Education. This is the module that we are going to use in our lessons, okay? I am sure we are going to learn and we are going to understand. So let us go to the first unit of this module and then see what are we gonna cover, or what are we going to cover in the first unit of this module. Welcome. Okay, teachers, so we are going to start with Unit 1, okay? Unit 1 of this module. And I told you, this is module IE 033. IE 033, or you can call it the Mathematics Braille Notation. Good. Now, in Unit 1, we are going to look at computation of numbers. Computation of numbers. Computation of numbers. Now, so this unit 1, which is computation of numbers, is divided into 3 subsections, okay? So this unit, which is unit 1, is divided into 3 sections. Now let us look at those sections. Now the sections are here. We are told this unit is divided into 3 sections. 3 sections, namely section 1, section 2, and section 3. Section 1, we are going to look at numbers and basic operations. Section 2, computations using abacus. And then section 3, we look at computation using cubarithms and Taylor frames. Cubarithms and Taylor frames. But we are going to start with section 1. We are going to start with section 1. And then this section 1, we will look at numbers and basic operation. But we are going to start with whole numbers in this section 1. This section 1 is also divided into 3. I'm saying this section 1 is also, okay, this section 1, I'm saying this section 1 is also divided by 3. So let us look what are those division of this section 1. Or in other words, we are saying this section 1 is breaked into 3 groups. 3 groups. And I said section 1, we are going to deal with numbers and basic operation. But these numbers and basic operation, they are broken into 3. Right? Now, let us look at that. So, as I said, that first section is divided into 3. Now, the first thing that we're going to look at is whole numbers in Braille. And then next, we look at basic operation sign. And then third, we are going to look at fractions, decimals, decimal fraction, and percentages. But now in this lesson, we are going to look at whole numbers in Braille. So in other words, we are going to learn how do we write whole numbers. Okay? Whole numbers, a whole number means a whole, something complete. Okay? Whole means complete. So we are going to look at how do we write 0 up to 9 in Braille. So that is what exactly we are going to look in this lesson. So this is what we are referring as whole numbers. First, we are going to understand how do we represent numbers when it comes or in Braille. Okay, how do we represent numbers in Braille? And we are going to start with whole numbers as our first lesson. Now, let me write somewhere whole numbers, and then we write together and then see what are we supposed to do, or how are we supposed to write these whole numbers when it comes to Braille. Okay, teachers, welcome. So we are going to write 0 to 9, okay, in Braille. So in other words, we are going to learn how do we write 0 from 1 or 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, up to 9 in Braille. So kindly listen. Before even I start writing or I show you how to write these numbers, I would like to remind you something we looked at. In the last part of module IE 021, we looked at what we call the Braille composition signs. Braille composition signs. It was the last part of module IE 021 or the basic English Braille. We looked at the Braille composition sign. And we said this Braille composition sign, they are signs of which they do not have an equivalent symbol when it comes to print. And I told you those Braille composition signs, they help us to denote other things that they cannot be written when it comes to Braille. And when it comes to numbers and in mathematical as at large, we are going to use a very important sign that we looked at in the last part of module IE21, and this is what we call a numeral sign. I told you a numeral sign is written as bow. Remember, we also said that this one is a bow. This one is a bow when it's written at the end of a word. But we said numeral sign must be written at the beginning of a word to mean numeral sign. So I'm going to explain this, okay? I'm going to explain this and you are going to understand. Now, just know we are going to use this numeral sign, okay? In this lesson, you are going to understand better how do we use this numeral sign and how important it is when it comes to numbers, right? Remember, we are looking at whole numbers, and that is module IE 033 or mathematics Braille notations, okay? Now, listen. In mathematics, in Braille, when it comes to numbers, there is no way, there's no dots that represent numbers. And therefore, we use letters of alphabet to denote numbers. I'm saying there is no special way of writing numbers in Braille. But now, because it's a must we represent numbers, okay, we use the letters of alphabet. And we don't just use any letter, but we use specific letters, and those letters is letter A through J, okay? Or letter A to J. Letter A to J, these letters, they are the ones that are used to represent numbers, okay? And then we are going to see, now, how do we differentiate between a letter that means letter and a letter that represents a number? So we are going to explain that. Kindly listen and watch from the beginning up to the end. So, as I said, we use letter A through J to denote numbers. Therefore, we have the letters of alphabet A up to J. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. So we start from A, which is 1, and then the last one, which is J, it will represent 0. So this is what I'm saying. So A is 1, B ni 2, C ni 3, D ni 4, E 5, F 6, G 7, H 8, and then I, it's 9, J finally is 0. So someone is asking me, where is 10? Okay, 10 is simple. It is 1 and 0. 1 and 0 represents 10. Okay, so we get all numbers from 0 to 9, right? This is the numbers that represent all numbers. Okay, and therefore we use letter A up to J to denote numbers. Okay, I hope you have understood that. Now, how now do we represent, or at what time when this A becomes a number? Listen, we use this numeral sign before writing these letters of alphabet for them to become numbers. This is what I'm saying. So for this A to mean 1, you must write a numeral sign first, okay? And I said this one is an example of a Braille composition signs. We looked at it when we were looking at the Braille composition sign. So it's an example of a Braille composition sign. So listen, we said A is written like this in Braille, isn't it? So this is A. But if you want to show that this one is not A, is 1, first you must write this numeral sign before you write A. So numeral sign A, this one is no longer A now, it is 1. So the work of a numeral sign is to convert a letter to become a number. Okay? So the work of a numeral sign is to convert the letter that follows to become a number. But that letter that follows a numeral sign, it must range from A through J. This is what I'm saying. If you get a numeral sign and then the letter that follows is K, so this K does not represent any number because it's not among of these letters. Okay? So numeral sign only show these letters are not letters, they are numbers. And I said, numeral sign is written like this. All right? This is what we call a numeral sign. Numeral sign. Numeral sign. Now teachers, listen to me. Listen to me. First tumeelewa ya kwamba kutengeneza namba 0 to 9 tunatumia letter A1, B2, C3, D4, E ni 5, F ni 6, G ni 7, H ni 8, I ni 9, J ni 0. So hizi letters, kila letter iko na namba yake. A ni 1, hivyo haitabadilika. B ni 2, like that. But for you to denote that or to know this one is 2 not B, it must be preceded with a numeral sign. I told you to precede is to come first. To precede is to come first. To precede is to come first. Now let me write somewhere. Then we write together with now a numeral sign, and then you are going to understand better. Okay, so teachers, as I said, so I have let us write together here and then see how do we come up with the letter 1 or number 1 up to number 9 and 0. So how do we write in Braille? Remember I told you we use the letters of alphabet. I told you 1 is A, 2 ni B, 3 ni C, then D, E, F, G, H, I, and then finally we have J, like that. Okay, we have J. Now let us write. I told you 1 in print inaandikwa hivi. Okay, 1 in print inaandikwa hivi. So ukitaka kuandika kwa Braille unaandika numeral sign A. Numeral sign A. So this one is 1. This one is 1 is not A, because I told you the work of a numeral sign which is dot 3, 4, 5, 6 is to convert a letter which is between A up to J to become a number. So a numeral sign is a sign that converts letters into numbers, but those letters must be between A and J. So 2 inaandikwa kama B. Okay? So unaandika numeral sign B without intervening a space here between. Unaandika numeral sign, unaandika B direct. Do not put a space. 3 inaandikwa hivi kwa print, okay? In the normal print. When it comes to Braille, it is C. I told you Braille ni C. But for it to be 3, you must put this numeral sign. Ukiandika bila kuweka numeral sign, inabaki kuwa letter C. But ukiweka hapa numeral sign, now the work of this numeral sign is to tell you that this one is not C, it has been converted to mean another thing, and that thing is number 3. So here number 4 ni D. Number 5, I told you ni E. This one now. Then F. I told you F is like that. Then we come to 7. 7 ni G. And then we have H. Okay. And then we have I. Okay. And then finally, J, I told you, is written like that. So, teachers, this is what I'm saying. A is written like this. Okay. But whenever you begin with a numeral sign and then you write A, automatically it becomes 1. B, numeral sign B, 2. Numeral sign C, 3. Numeral sign D, 4. Numeral sign E, 5. Numeral sign F, 6. Numeral sign G, 7. Numeral sign H, 8. And then we have numeral sign I, it becomes 9. And then numeral sign J, it becomes 0. So this is how we write 0 in Braille. And this is how we write 0 in print. 9 in Braille, 9 in print, 9 in Braille, 8 in Braille, 8 in print, 7 in Braille, 7 in print, 6 in Braille, 6 in print, 5 in Braille, 5 in print. Then we have 4 in Braille, we have 4 in print, okay? And then we have 3 in Braille, and then here, this is 3 in print. We have 2 in Braille and then 2 in print. And finally, this is 1 in Braille. This is 1 in print. So somebody who is visually impaired will just touch and then realize this is not A, it is 1 because of this numeral sign. So it is just simple as that. So first, tumeelewa kuandika number 1 or 0 up to 9. 0 up to 9. So tumejua kwamba tunatumia letter A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, whereby any1 na J ni 0. So do not forget. Do not forget. Do not forget. So we have this means you just put numeral sign A 1, numeral sign B 2, like that up to J. Now we have now known how to write those numbers. Now let us write some numbers, okay? So that we can understand how we write these things, right? Tuandike numbers kutumia hizi zenye tumelana hapa. Good. So we have examples. 2000, 2000, 2000. So whenever you want to write 2000, I told you before you write any number, you must write a numeral sign, because a numeral sign is a sign used to convert a letter into a number. And I told you 2 ni B, okay? Unaona 2 inaandikwa numeral sign 2. B inakuwa 2. So hapa 2000 tutaandika hivi numeral sign, unaandika 2, that is B, and then unaandika 0. I told you 0 ni J, and then 0 ingine is a J, 0 ingine it's a J. Sasa naomba unisikilize mwalimu. Mwalimu, naomba unisikilize vizuri zaidi. Unaona mimi nimeandika numeral sign moja. Listen to me. Do not make a mistake. This is 2000. You write a numeral sign 2, numeral sign 0, numeral sign 0, numeral sign 0. Atuweke kila namba na numeral sign yake. No, never. That is wrong. This numeral sign affect all these letters. Remember, this is B, J, J, J. And I told you, whenever you see a numeral sign here, it means the letters that are following, they are not letters. They have been converted to numbers. And each letter has got its specific number that it represents. Now, in this case, because we have a numeral sign, this one is no longer B, it is 2, because B represents 2. This is J. Now, because we had a numeral sign here, and this one is J, and I told you J represents 0. This one is another J represents 0. J represents 0. So this is 2000 in print, and this one is 2000 in Braille. So teachers, this numeral sign, this one numeral sign here, affect all these letters in this side, unless kukuwe na kitu kama space, and then there you can introduce another numeral sign. But we are going to understand that when we go on with the lessons. Now let us come to example B. That one is okay now. Let us come to example B. Example B, it is 3784. Now in this case, there is a comma here. Listen, teachers, there is a comma here. Now, it is very important. Listen. In the first example, we didn't have a comma, a mathematical comma. Let me use the term mathematical comma. You know, I'm saying, or I'm calling it mathematical comma, because the mathematical comma is different from the English comma that we looked under the punctuation in module IE 021, or the basic English Braille. The comma we looked at there is not the dot that represents that comma, is different from the dot that represent comma when it comes to mathematics. So be guided and listen. So here, as usual, you are going to start by writing a numeral sign, and then you write 3. I told you 3 is C. So it's here. You can see now, niliwaambia ndio hii 3, si ndio? So hii 3 utaandika kama C. Ndio hii. Si ndio hii hapa? I told you this C dot 1 and dot 4 represent 3. Okay? So utaandika hivyo 3, and then comma ya mathematics ni dot 3. Inakaa kama apostrophe when it comes to mathematics. So math comma, mathematics comma is dot 3. okay, is dot 3. Do not forget. Now, sasa umeandika 3, comma, which is dot 3, because we said this is dot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So dot 3 is a mathematical comma. Then 7, I told you, is G, okay, it is this one. You write 7, and then you come to 8. 8, I told you, is H. No, H. H. And then 4, nikakwambia ni D. Again, now here, teachers, this numeral sign, this one numeral sign affect all these letters. So usifikirie utaandika kila number na numeral sign yake. That's what I'm trying to explain, teachers. So do not make a mistake of writing every number and it's a big number. It's a whole number. It's a one number. And then you're trying to write its each digit and each numeral sign. Please don't do that. Okay? Please don't do that. Kindly. So this is 3. This is comma. Okay, in mathematics, this is 7, this is 8, and this is 4. 3, 7, 8, 4. When it comes to Braille, it's written like this, and in print, it's written like this. Now listen. Kwa mtihani unaweza ulizwa. In the national exam, that is NEC, you can be asked, what or which dot represent a mathematical comma? You know, these guys are very specific. Let me tell you, they are very specific when it comes to questions. They ask, for example, if they are asking the mathematical comma, and then you give the English comma that we said is a dot 2. An English comma is dot 2, isn't it? When they ask you about the comma, the mathematical comma, you should give dot 3. So the comma for the mathematics is very, very different, absolutely different from comma of English. That is it. 999, you just write a numeral sign first. Do not make a mistake and forget writing this numeral sign. Because if you write this 999 without writing a numeral sign, they will be all letters of alphabet. So you must need this converter, which is a numeral sign or a number sign. And sometimes they are called number sign, okay, or numeral sign. Sometimes ukiona wamekuambia number sign, ujue tu ni numeral sign. So 9 ndio hii niliwaambia ni ndio hii 9. You can see 9 is I, si ndio? Ndio hii. So that's when nimeweka I because ni 999. So numeral sign 999. Sasa hapa ni 9, 9 and 9. So let us come to 1014. But now in this 1000 there is a comma. So here you just write numeral sign, as simple as that. And then you write 1. I told you 1 is A, is here. And then you write comma. I told you mathematical comma ni dot 3. And each letter has got its own Braille cell. Usifanye makosa, umeandika hapa 1, which is dot 1, and then you comma, ukuje uandike hapa. No. Each and every letter, each and every number uses its own Braille cell. Kama ni moja, tumia Braille cell. Sasa what happens, unahesabu 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you are going to have a 5 Braille cell here. Okay? Plus now the numeral sign, it becomes 6. I think it's clear. So 0, I told you ni J. Then 1, ni hivyo, and then 4. So hiyo inakuwa 1, 0, 1, and then 4, and you are done. But let us come to example E. Example E ni 6,981. 6,981, but there is a mathematical comma. There is a mathematical comma here. So you are going to write a numeral sign as usual. A very, very, very important sign when it comes to mathematics. By the way, we are going to use this numeral sign entirely in mathematics because there's no way you can represent numbers minus this sign. It's a very important sign. Okay? When you want to denote anything, the year, the number, your phone number, the year you were born, the date, you must use this one. Okay? You must use this one. Whenever you want to represent numbers. Okay? Okay. Now, you write 6. 6, I told you ni F, ndio hapa. Okay? You can see. Then, comma, don't forget, so dot 3. 9 ni I. Then 8 ni H. And then 1 ni hivyo. So itakuwa 6,981. Now we have the last example according to this list. This is 1,473,000. So you just write one numeral sign, as simple as that. And then you write 1, and then you write comma, then you write 4, and then you write 7. And then after doing that, you write 3, and then you write comma. You know, I'm just reading here. Ni 3 ndio hii 3. Comma, naweka hapo comma. 0, naweka hapa 0. And then 0 ingine ndio hii, naweka hapa. And then 0 ya mwisho ndio hiyo, naweka hapa. Now, are you getting? So itakuwa ni 1, 4, 7, 3, 0, 0, 0. As simple as that. So that is all about whole numbers, 0 up to 9. So tumekuja na examples, we have represented them when it comes to Braille, and I have debrailled them, and I have told you, do not make a mistake of writing each digit and its own numeral sign. Do not do that, because this one, for example, 2000, this is a one number, okay? It's not 2000, need 2000. 2000 is a one number. 3784, just like that. So you use a one numeral sign. One numeral sign. So teachers, again, we have learned today the mathematical comma. Ndio hii hapa. Ile ya kudifferentiate between thousands and hundreds. Okay? Ones, tens, hundred. Thousand. So hii comma ina separate thousands and hundreds. It's a comma, but it is not just a comma, but it is a mathematical comma. So the dots that represent this comma is different from a comma in English. And therefore, I told you the dots of a comma in mathematics is dot 3. Ndio hapa. Dot 3. But the comma of English is dot 2. So get the difference, please, because sometimes it confuses a lot of people. It's very important when you know. So leo tumejifunza number from 1 up to 0 ama 0 up to 9, and tumejua tunatumia letters of alphabet A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and J. Period. Na tunatumia numeral sign ama number sign. Tunaita numeral sign ama number sign. Okay? Tunaita numeral sign ama number sign. And today we have introduced, or we have looked at, hata nimeipata ndio hii. So, I'm telling you, in writing numbers with more than 3 digits, dot 3 is used to represent the print comma dividing of the thousand. This rule applies only to figures. This rule applies only to figures. That rules only applies to figures. Now, I hope it's clear, you have understood, and that is our first lesson in this module IE 033, or the mathematics Braille notation. So kindly teachers, make sure you connect this lesson starting with this first lesson, because when it comes to Braille, you must follow all the lesson the way they are starting, going when nazo systematically, so that you can connect. Okay? In Braille, you cannot just start anywhere. You will get lost. So kindly continue doing practice. This is our first lesson. Watch it again and again. And if there is somewhere that is not clear and you're not understanding, kindly be free, call or text, and I will help you where possible. Thank you very much, and may God bless you.